everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a complete flip through of The Good and the Beautiful's History Year 2. I know that it's been a little bit since I posted the last video kind of showing a broad overview of the curriculum we were going to be using for our group subjects, but I've had some health issues and I had to have surgery, so been on the mend for a little bit, but feeling better, and life is kind of getting back to the day-to-day, and so I figured I would go ahead and record these and get these videos that I promised y'all out, and then I will be doing videos for our individual subjects. So our individual subjects are the ones that the kids complete. You know, they have their own curriculum, and so language arts, reading, handwriting, math, those types of things. So I'll probably be doing a similar video I did with the group subjects, where it's just a broad overview of just all of it. And then if there's anything that you want to see in kind of a complete flip through, you can always let me know and I'll do that one for you. So let's get started. So we have done The Good and the Beautiful Year 1 for history, and now we are going to be doing The Good and the Beautiful Year 2. And so they have 4 years, kind of how the Story of the World does 4 years. They do the same, and the way that The Good and the Beautiful does it, they always start at the beginning of history and go all the way to the present with each year, which is a little bit different than Story of the World, because Story of the World starts at the very beginning, and you know, they divide it into 4 chunks and go over things in, you know, detail. But the way that the that they go through the entire course of history, but in each year, so in each, like for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, they bring out different they highlight different events that have happened. You know, so in year 1 you may have a big study of ancient Egypt, whereas in year 2 you might be studying something different. And so that's kind of the way they do things. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the course book, and then I'll show you kind of the extras that come along with it. Okay. So this is year 2. And this is the table of contents. So we start, Unit 1 is over ancient Greece and ancient Asia. So like I said, in year 1, we did not really cover ancient Greece and ancient Asia. There may have been a couple things that were highlighted, but this is going to go into detail more about that. Unit 2 is Vikings, exploration, pre-Columbian America. Unit 3 is colonial America and the U.S. Constitution. Then you have Unit 4, history of U.S. education, World War I through the Great Depression. And then it comes all the way up to the Dust Bowl. And so that's where this one kind of stops. Okay. And there are, what's that say? There are 60 lessons. So this is another curriculum, kind of like science, where you're not doing this 5 days a week. You're going to spread it out maybe 2 to 3 days a week. But this is written to cover an entire school year. So here you have the course overview. This is a Christian curriculum, so there is a lot of talk about God and his influence. Some curriculum that is Christian, you can kind of skip over that stuff. It's a little more heavy in The Good and the Beautiful. If you're looking for more of a secular curriculum, I know that Story of the World, even though it does talk about God, it doesn't feel Christian-ish, if that makes sense. We love Story of the World, and we will probably use it again. And we're a Christian, but it's not as prevalent as it is in curriculum like The Good and the Beautiful. Has a list of items that you will need, and it talks about, you know, what parts you get when you buy this curriculum. Let's see, talking about downloads that you need to print. So there will be a Student Explorer notebook that I will need to print. How to teach the course. Over here it has the password and the web address where you can, once you buy this curriculum, they give you the information to go to a certain address and put in the password, and you can download the Student Explorers, the audio recordings, and the list of read aloud suggestions. And so those are some things that you will need for the course. And the student Explorers let me. I wanted to get out their year one Explorers just to kind of show you. So I had this bound and printed and bound, sorry, at what is it, Office Depot, I think? Yeah. And so I didn't print it. I printed it at home and I had it bound at Office Depot. But it just, not every lesson has a sheet. Like right here you have lesson 3 and lesson 4 and lesson 5 and lesson 6. But then you have, let me see, lesson 7, and then you jump to lesson 10. So not every lesson has a work page. And a lot of times they're just like coloring or map work or what have you. And sometimes we do them, and I'll be honest, sometimes we've skipped them depending on what it is. Sometimes if it's like a copy work thing and it's a lot of copy work and I know my kids are not going to be into that, then we skip it. But that's the beauty of homeschooling. You get to kind of adjust the curriculum to what you like. And then, like I said, they do have read aloud, so chapter books that go along with what you're studying in history that you can read aloud to your kids. And we used to do these at bedtime, which I still read to them at bedtime, but I think this year when we have lunch is when I'm going to do the read aloud, just because sometimes at bedtime, if we've had a late night, we don't always have time to get like a full chapter in or something. And so I don't want to skip it. I want to be able to, because I feel like I don't want them just learning from a textbook, worksheets and things. I want them learning from literature as well. It's just another good way to learn. So here is the first lesson, Ancient Greece, Geography, and Mythology. And so the way that these lessons are set up, they're set up the same for all throughout this book. They'll have a note to parents and teachers. So it talks to, in here, sometimes there'll be things for older children to do. Sometimes there'll be things for younger children to do, and it lists that and specifies that so you can see that. Talks about, this is scripted, so what you read to the children. Then there's a map activity talking about using a globe to locate different things, locating different things on a map. And then here it talks about using the Student Explorer. Other thing that you would read to the children. There's a little chart you talk about the difference between, the Greeks' religion versus Christianity. And then you have discussion questions down here, and it says, in their notebooks, have the children in grades 7 and up write the definition. So, like I said, sometimes it'll add things on for older kids at the end. Now, this lesson was a little bit wordier than most of the lessons. I don't want you to think that they're all that long. That one's a little bit longer than normal. And even though it looks like a lot of reading, it goes pretty quick. And I like to, when I'm reading, I like to kind of reiterate things or maybe ask questions in the middle to keep them engaged. Here you have lesson 2, Ancient Greece Daily Life. Talks about extra items needed, so that's always nice. Play the audio recording. We really like these. We just sit in the living room and play them, and they listen to them, and then we usually go into our lesson. So there's a timeline activity, optional craft. I do like that they have crafts in here, and so they'll have like templates and stuff for you to copy and use. And then supply list for the crafts, and then it reminds you to use the read aloud. So I'm just going to kind of flip through this just to kind of give you an idea. And there are pages, some of these pages where you'll copy and let them cut things out and either put them in their Explorer, their Student Explorer, or another page. Some of this stuff is for the older kids too. You just have to read and decide. So it's the Greek alphabet. the Persian War, philosophy, math, science, and astronomy. So I'm excited to study Greece. You know, that was always one of my favorites. Alexander the Great, ancient China, and then in here it talks about using the timeline, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can see these lessons are pretty short. Like this one, it's just one page. This one's just a couple pages. Well, that one's 3 pages, but it depends. And like I said, some of the stuff is for older kids. Some of it's just instructions for activities. And so that's the end of Unit 1. This is Unit 2, Vikings and Explorers. I do like that they have pictures in here. So you can talk about, you know, modeling clay Viking bracelets. You can show them how to make those, and Viking rings. That'll be a really fun activity to do. Marco Polo. So I'm going to kind of just flip through here. I believe they have this on PDF too, so if you wanted to just print this out yourself and have it bound, or just, you know, punch it and put it in a binder, you could do that. For me, I feel like, for me, at least with our printer, it's not worth the ink for me to print it out. Like, I don't save any money, so I just, you know, have them do it, and then one less thing for me to do. All right. And so as we get toward the end here, lesson 56, 58, and then this is lesson 60. And so this is a review. And then you have your bibliography. And that is it for that book. So that is the complete course book. So some of the things that come along with the course book are, well, the timeline. So this one is early world history, and it tells you here like page 1 upper, and this is page 2 upper. So they would be, you know, if you're going to put them on the wall, they would connect like this. And so this is early world history all the way to 300 AD. And then here you have page 1 lower and page 2 lower. And so this one is 3000 BC to 300 AD. And then here you have page 3, which is 480 to 1200 AD. Then you have page 4, which is 1300 AD to 1650 AD. And then page 5, 1750 AD to 2000 AD. So, and then it's just got different, you know, events in history like a timeline would, but they came laminated. I didn't have to do this, so that's really nice. And this is one thing, I believe you can actually use this for part of year 1 too, because you do cover some of these events in year 1. And so that's one of the things that comes with it. You also have this maps and images. Now, in year 1, you had a big book of stories, which also had maps. You do not have that with this curriculum. With year 2, you just have a book with maps and images. So there's little contents, and so it will tell you in the course book when you're teaching when you need to open this up and reference it for your students. So maps and images, that's exactly what it is. Once again, this is like science. I love that they have pictures because, you know, if I'm going to try to explain, you know, something to my children like the Great Wall of China, well, they're going to understand it better if they see a picture of it. And this is another thing, another subject where we are always on YouTube looking up videos for different things and learning about them. And so the kids really, really love that. So all what this looks like. And some of these maps are, they have the same ones in their student explorers, and so it'll have them like color things and reference the map for different things. Look at the little pilgrim hat cookie recipe. That's so cute. All the way up. U.S. war posters. In Europe before World War I and after World War I. So So that is the second thing that comes along with your kit. And then the third thing is the Explorers and Settlers History card game. So let me show you this. Comes in a little tin. Yes. And so you have these cards. So you have two sides of the cards, and then you have your instruction cards. Okay, so the purpose of the game is to memorize and name the accomplishments of key settlers and explorers. So you have it says you choose whether to play for a set period of time, such as 20 minutes, or to play all of the cards, or play until all of the cards are matched and obtained. Okay, so you lay all of the cards face down, with the darker blue cards, which are the explorer and settler pictures and names, together in 4 rows of 5, and then all of the light blue cards, which are their descriptions, together in 4 rows of 5 as well. And so it's like a matching game. So you turn a card over, you turn a dark blue and a light blue over. Sorry, let me explain this a little bit better here. So you have them set out in rows. Okay, so you've got the 4 rows of 5. The first player turns over a light blue card and reads the description. If the player that turned over the light blue card cannot say the name of the correct explorer, that player's turn is over. If the player can say the name of the explorer, the player may turn over a dark blue card. If the light blue and the dark blue cards match, the player keeps the matching cards and goes again. The player continues until he or she does not get a match. It is then the next player's turn. Unmatched cards should be turned face down and placed in their original position after a player's turn. There is an answer key card here, and it says you may refer to the answer key card to verify whether the player said the name correctly or answered correctly. And if you are playing for a set period of time, try to beat the number of matches all of the players got collectively the last time you played. And if you were playing until all of the matches are obtained, time the game and try to beat the total time it took to obtain all of the matches the last time you played. So it's kind of like a spin on matching. But we like these two because not only do you play the game because there's kind of a similar one for year 1, but you can just go over these. If you've talked about Lewis and Clark and Roald Amundsen and James Oglethorpe, if you already covered them, then at the beginning of your lesson you can hold them up and be, just like a quick review. Okay, what do these guys do, or what are they famous for? And so that's always nice to have. So that, like I said, that is the curriculum for The Good and the Beautiful History Year 2. Once again, remember, when you purchase this curriculum, you will need to download the Student Explorers and print those out. And then there's also on that same website that has the Student Explorers, you have the read aloud list and the audio recordings to go along with the lessons. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the description box below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye.